I'm the man, yes sir, that killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for I was legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. We still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dollars rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding cause we all came from hunger pain.
That's what's up. Late Ill Kid at OneYoungsta, holding it down, bring that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people? Today, all year, coming with another wonderful episode of That's Right, Thumbnails, chilling, kicking it, doing our thing, keeping it real. And shouts to Shango Zulu, shouts to Ghost MKC. But before we get started, we are joined, before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Blerdish. They out there, you know what I'm saying, the storm and the hurricane and all that stuff is coming. So, you know, guys, stay safe. You know what I'm saying? You on my mind. I just hope y'all stay safe. I know it's crazy out there, so just, you know, hey, thoughts and prayers for y'all. Just everything. The storm is regular, not crazy. But right over here, I am joined by a gentleman who needs no introduction. You've seen him before on this channel. He is a cinematic sorcerer. I present to you Solar Gray.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, coming at you from the distant vacuum of space while I look for the wizard's tower. You start building it, and then something happens, and you lose the whole building. You know,
yeah.
Cultured as I am, I know where I come from, and I can't keep up with nothing. So yeah, it's good to be here, and it's good to be back, man.
All right, cool. Of course. Before we get started with the,
Yes, I'm checking out today's topic. So we going there today.
Before we get in too deep, we have had 2 episodes of What If. So I wanted to know how you're feeling about What If in general.
In general? Mm-hmm. Honestly, the show, in my opinion, is a very good reflection of the comic, which is for all y'all looking for Easter eggs and little cookies back and forth. Here are your cookies, here are your little Easter eggs. Here's a little bit of something to, it's like a snack between movies, you know. It's nice to see something that Marvel is putting out that isn't, if you don't watch this, you're lost, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the most expensive television program in the history of television being the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But it's real nice to see that we have sort of an in-between season phase little thing. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
In phase 4, but you know, it's
Because we're kind of stepping into phase 4 now. It's like like dipping our toe into it.
Well, according to the big chart that Kevin Feige showed at Comic-Con 2017, this is phase 4. Of course, according to him, the Inhumans was on it. We don't talk about that. So,
well, that's because he had to put it on there because that stuff with Pearl Mother and everything. So now that's over.
And they're happy. Now they resolved everything, and they live happily ever after. They have tea every day at 4:00.
Yeah,
everything is cool. And the Inhumans never happened. Black Bolt is and has always been on Star Trek Discovery, and he's working for Paramount like in more day. That's what we're talking about.
Oh boy.
So, but as far as What If as a show goes, it reminds me of What If was one of my stepping stones into Marvel Comics in the first place.
Oh, okay.
When I was a kid, like one of the first comics that I remembered, got it from my brother Keanu, and it was What If X-Men Lost Inferno. And I remember it like it was yesterday because it taught me the proper use of the word myriad.
Ah.
Yeah, because I'm like 9 years old, and I'm like, myriad? My pyramid? My myriad? What is that? Oh, it is tens of thousands of something. That is good to know.
Gotcha.
You know, and that was it. But I didn't know what I was reading because it had some Blues Brothers characters that was supposed to be some kind of investigators that were checking out everything and trying to put everything back together. And I'm like, what's the Blues Brothers doing in my Marvel comic? I don't understand as a child. But I read the What Ifs, and I didn't realize as a kid they were just a bunch of one-shots that go, hey fans, what if something different had happened? I didn't know who the big-headed dude in the freaking Roman dress was. I've come to love him more.
The big-headed dude.
You know, seriously, I'm like, okay, he's a watcher. What does he do? He watches. Okay, that's kind of dumb. But
he doesn't interfere.
Except for when he does. Yeah, he doesn't interfere except when he does, and then when somebody shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
You know, spoilers for
and we had to figure out who did it and all that. Yeah. Which is another good story.
I thought it was all right. It took a little while to grow on me.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've never really been that big a fan of Nick Fury.
But see,
I got my spy stuff over here and my superhero stuff over here. And then when my superheroes and my spies mix, I'm just kind of like, I got my super.
Okay.
Like, what am I looking at the spies for and all that stuff? You know, I think I'm the only secret agent type person that I'm cool with in the whole superhero spy crossover genre is Dick Grayson. You know, and that's just, he started off as a kid, he grew up. I started off as a kid, I grew up. So, you know, that's kind of
understood.
So yeah, it's just, it makes in the genre. But with the What If series, it is a very, very decent recall to that. Like, you know, what if this happened in the movies? Okay, let's look at that for 30 minutes. And then 30 minutes is up, and you go about your day. Like, I gotta say, man, Marvel has got us trained. I'm talking like Pavlovian levels of training. I missed the show last week, so I don't know if you talked about episode. I don't know when you talked about episode 1 if you covered this, but I had to fight the urge to look for a post-credit scene. As soon as the post-credit thing comes up, I'm scrubbing through the little timeline going, all right, do I see any? Oh no, credits changed up. All right, cool. We got there.
It's like, all right, we're not doing it for these. All right, cool.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I like it in that sense of it's just it's like a little Marvel snack, you know,
Yeah.
a little Marvel like a few Marvel chips, you know, like some Marvel Cheetos is really what it is, you know.
So, all right, speaking of Cheetos, you know, we had Captain Carter. We had T'Challa basically makes the whole universe better. And then now we have what could be deemed a decent little short of a detective story of a mystery of sorts. You
Very
know,
much.
and this is, you know, it's like, hey, what if, you know, the Avengers didn't exist? What if they were all taken out?
Yeah.
And the way it starts out, you're like, oh, okay, cool. All right, we kind of remember these beats a little bit. But then when Tony drops, it's like, oh, hold up, what?
Yeah.
Uh,
Is this a spoiler talk or not? Spoiler?
Yeah, this is spoiler. Yeah, this is
super spoiler.
we're assuming
right.
you've seen it. It comes out on Wednesday. It's Sunday.
Yeah. See, it's a little weird because I live like 3 miles from that Kendall's Donuts. Where Tony is sitting in the middle of a great big donut.
Yeah.
Just eating. Yeah. I live 3 miles from there.
Is that the one on like 405 in La Cienega or whatever? Or
yeah, Manchester. Manchester.
Manchester, yeah.
Yeah. And you know, so yeah, or Manchester in the 405. And I'm like, okay, yeah, they're going over there. Why would you fly there from Malibu? I don't know. But
Yeah.
I had that
because the donuts are just so good. The donuts are okay. Like, you know, my wife will attest to this. The donuts are okay. They're not bad donuts, but they're not like I gotta circle around the block and come back donuts.
I will tell you honestly, I've only seen one place with bad donuts. Just one place.
All right.
Because donuts are generally donuts and
donuts.
It's so good, you know. And that second part, that's not an objective thing, it's a taste thing. Like I prefer Dunkin' over Krispy Kreme. You know?
Ooh.
Yeah,
a Dunkin' man here.
Yeah, I'm a Dunkin' man. They got better coffee, and I like my donuts with substance. You know, so when you eat a Dunkin' donut, it feels like you're eating something. Versus, I just paid $2 for this thing that's going to evaporate on my tongue, and that's Krispy Kreme. Am I wrong? So
donut vanish.
It's so light and fluffy. You know, I've had hard candy that has more substance than this, you know. So it's just saying. But you know, if it ain't your favorite place, it's a donut.
Yeah, donut.
You know, it's a donut. You know. So but yeah, so we got
Ghost MKC says Krispy Kreme is just doughy sugar, and then says hot sugar holes. Oh man, it's tough. It's tough out there. You know, I got love for Krispy Kreme personally. You know, so I got love for Krispy Kreme, but Dunkin' Donuts got them donut holes that are like straight flames. So I got to give them to them.
They're made for truckers that are doing long hauls. So you know, you got to get something to eat, and you got to get a cup of coffee. Okay, yeah, a cup of coffee, because you're gonna be driving
a half gallon of coffee.
You know, half gallon. That's the small, man. You want the large.
That's the small.
Last time I was at Dunkin', I'm like, what's that sound? I'm hearing doot, 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 doot. I'm like, y'all getting a delivery? It's like, nah, man, that's just Ron. He picking up. He about to drive to Utah. I'm like, all right, cool, Ron. You know, do it to it, man.
Do what you got to do.
You know, but what I do like about this episode is two things. One, I do like murder mysteries that aren't outright police procedurals.
Yeah.
And one of the things I love is in the comic crossover genre from the page to either the big screen or the little screen. They trick you into murder mysteries. You know what I mean?
True.
Because like when you're looking at most police procedurals, it's, there's a murder. Well, I'm a cop. I'm gonna say something sarcastic.
Dum, dum.
You know,
Wow.
you know, but like most people forget that The Watchmen is a murder mystery.
You're right.
know?
The Watchmen is a murder mystery, and then DC Comics does something kind of similar when I can't remember. I think we touched on it with can't remember who was on, but I think we talked about Identity Crisis when like so there's like Identity Crisis. So there are different instances where it's like, hey, somebody's killing superheroes, and first, who is it? And how can they do it? Because these are superheroes. These aren't just regular people.
Right, exactly.
It's not like you killed Ted the mechanic.
You've got Heroes in Crisis, and you've got all the best Batman stories, from Court of Owl to Long Halloween, to what was the one that came after Long Halloween? I'm slipping. The red one. Dark Victory. Dark Victory.
Okay.
So with this episode of What If, we're looking at a murder mystery, and I really like when a lot of these properties take a hero or take a superpowered person that no one takes seriously and shows how big they are. Seriously.
Like show how serious it could be. Because you know, straight up, your boy Ant-Man essentially used Black Widow to kill Tony.
Yeah.
Used Hawkeye to kill Thor. You like
kill Hulk on his own.
Hulk on his own by putting the little exploding things. Yeah. So he really worked out on some kind of like Tower of Babel Batman type stuff on how to get this done.
And see, most people only take the stars seriously. You know what I mean? Like they take Tony seriously. Oh, look, he has all the super tech and he has all the quips. They take Thor seriously because he a god, yo.
Yeah, and he's a god. He has lightning.
God. And they take Captain America seriously because he's just too cool. He's just a nice person.
He's got the leadership skills. He's been in war. He's real war, out there with and without powers. And
exactly.
He's pretty much the only like objectively trustworthy guy.
Yes.
Like pretty much anyone, you can ask any of the heroes, they'd be like, Captain America needs, you'd be like, all right, man, he's got my back. You know what I mean? Like, so.
What do you think Secret Empire happened? Cap's superpowers, credibility. But when it comes to those other heroes, I think the writers on this one really showed, look, if you got Avengers credit, you're a monster. You are truly capable of being a monster. Like, for those of you guys that don't know, I've got a degree in physics. I specialized in astrophysics, but just undergrad physics, you learn about like particle acceleration and subatomic particles and muons, quark, all that stuff. And shrinking heroes deal with the literal building blocks of reality in their hands. That is terrifying. It's one of the reasons I've always preferred the Atom to Ant-Man, because the Atom goes all the way there. He goes all the way there, just like, oh no, there was one moment in Ultimate Fantastic Four where Sue Richards was like, I can turn your body invisible, I can see your arteries, and now I'm just gonna put a little force field inside your aorta. And I can kill you like that, nobody will know. and this episode showed stuff like that, I
definitely like the fact that when we start to get in it, I've talked to a couple of people offline they were literally, after like the second murder happened, they were like, okay, trying to run it through their head. Okay, who's in the MCU that could do this? Like, so they did a good job of kind of creating a story where not only do you kind of get involved, but you're literally in your own mind like, okay, who's been introduced that could do this? And I was like, is Ghost doing it? Not Ghost MKC in the chat.
Okay.
What up?
No, I know which one, because I had that same thought.
But I was like, is it Ghost? I was like, but nah, because Ghost doesn't really move like that. And I was like, also, didn't she turn her life around? I was like, she gave her life to Christ.
Yeah.
But I was like, didn't she? I was like, nah, she's cool. I was like, I don't know. And then, you're trying to think, I'm like, well, there's nobody there. I'm like, I don't think anybody has the skills. Nobody has the power. Like, nobody has invisibility. Because I'm thinking someone maybe invisible or someone who can like phase through. I didn't think about Ant-Man. Why? Because like you said, you don't think about the little guy. I'll see myself out. But
yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
Man, Eon 001 said I caught it early. I called it early, but I thought I was wrong. So yeah. Eon 001, shouts to you. Because I was like, what did we envision?
Yeah, I think the brilliance of it was not just making it Ant-Man, but making it Hank. Not Scott.
Yeah.
Not as the lovable goofball, but any Marvel fan who's been reading the books for more than 3 years knows that Hank ain't all there. I mean,
and he's a loose cannon too.
Like
punching people in the middle of meetings and stuff.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm like, cool. Oh, he did that Avengers. Okay. Oh. Yeah. But it's an interesting thing because, like I said, I got love for the people that are on the team that fans don't take seriously. Because
okay.
It hurts my soul that we're looking at the Tonys and the Thors and the Vision, who is my favorite member of the Avengers and has been since 1984 or 1987 actually. But people make fun of Hawkeye, but he's terrifying because at the end of the day, like, one, I don't understand why people make fun of Hawkeye and don't make fun of Black Widow until I remember that Black Widow was hot. But
I clown them both because I think they're both equally corny in the setting that they're in. But Hawkeye being essentially a sniper could be a problem for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point.
Someone who has the patience to camp out for a couple of days to wait for you to come out of your apartment, could be a serious problem.
His hand-to-hand, his tech stuff. I mean, the dude is Batman as a killer without billions of dollars. And I'm going, like, seriously.
Like, without billions of dollars.
Hawkeye do. Hawkeye and the Green Arrow there, and it's just like, dude, it's those two, like, they will kill you and you won't know. You'll just be walking down the street one day and you are ended. Now everybody else will see nothing but an arrow sticking out of you. But the reason that he uses arrows over guns is because they are silent. You don't hear, no, you might hear.
But I mean, imagine, military. A military style sniper rifle with that long silencer from like 3, 4, 5 blocks down the street.
Yeah.
And like somebody just drops. Yeah. I mean, Hawkeye could do that essentially. Now, I mean, of course he's a good guy.
Hawkeye could. Hawkeye does that.
Well, yeah. Well, sorry. I'm talking about doesn't kill superheroes. He doesn't do that. So in that case, we're good.
Yeah, so when it comes to Ant-Man, it's like he has all of the strength. He does it full size at tiny size.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking PSI there. You know, I mean,
That's crazy.
tell people a bullet is just a rock, but you put enough PSI there and it will tear your skin, tear up your organs. So Ant-Man is essentially a walking bullet that can bench 125. I mean, that's terrifying when you look at it scientifically.
And on the other tip, one thing that I dug about this episode was, you know, I mean, of course, unfortunately, Thor catches an L, he dies. And we see the Bifrost open up, and I was like, oh, Papa Odin about to come through. But it wasn't him, it was Loki. So I thought Odin was rolling through, like, hold up. All right, who done killed my boy? But it was Loki. So
I at least thought it was going to be the Warriors 3.
Yeah, they did bring them, and they had with the destroyer with them and all that. And the way that scene played out with them, with Loki and Nick Fury, was very interesting, with like taking tiny pieces from like the first Avengers movie and then like kind of infusing this. But yeah, it's like, yo, you killed essentially a foreign national. This is about to be it's going to be an international incident, or not international, but you know,
royalty.
Oh yeah, it's not even a foreign national, but foreign royalty. Like say if the prince of some kind of like, you know, nation somewhere comes over here to visit for, you know, I don't know, high tea, and he gets killed.
Yeah, they killed Prince Philip, and the UK is going, yo, pardon me, but just a moment, what the fuck do you think you're doing? You know,
because someone's gonna have to answer for that.
Yeah, exactly. Again, I don't want to be like the DC fanboy, but I am. That was covered in aqua.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where I was glad to see it and interested to see where it went. Like the longer this episode went, the more interested I became. And I will say, sans the first episode, even though the first episode was cool, it was just kind of like, sort of like a retelling just with Captain Carter there. But
that's what
but some what ifs are similar. The what ifs that I prefer are similar to like the T'Challa episode, where like one thing actually changes like 20 things. Like, you know, like, or one thing changes like 10, 12 things, instead of kind of like Captain Carter changed kind of like 2 things. It was like her and Steve Rogers, and then everything kind of sort of played out the same a little bit.
And then the universe ended. Yeah. You know.
But this one showing the people dying, and you're like, oh, who's doing it? Then Loki shows up. You're like, oh, snap. Then it's like, oh, he's going to make a deal with Loki. Oh, this is going to get even better. And they found a way in this episode to continue the intrigue up into the end. And then, of course, at the end, you're like, hey, because it's kind of like, yo, Loki, we don't really have any beef. Somebody killing your people, they killing my people. All right?
Yeah.
So since they killing your people and my people, why don't we figure out who it is?
And then Loki stays Loki.
Yeah, Loki does stay Loki. Loki, he does. But at least they do, you kind of like, by the end of the episode, you do kind of like push off that danger, at least for now.
Well, now that's an interesting thing. Can I'm only asking this because the title of today's episode, but can we talk about episode 2 for a hot minute?
Okay.
Because I'm split on it. Okay. Here was the thing. I loved the Black Panther movie. Okay? Not as much as I love the comics, but I love the movie. And the reason that I love the thing I didn't like about the movie was that we didn't get enough of T'Challa. Okay. We got a heaping helping of Shiri. We got a plate full of Killmonger. We even got a side of Umbatu. We T'Challa, in my opinion.
They worked almost. It's weird because almost to their detriment. I see what you're saying, because the movie had to also set up Wakanda as a society, as well. So you don't really get to have a Black Panther movie. It's more of a like Wakanda featuring Black Panther kind of film. Whereas
Yeah.
like because we also have to establish we have to establish Wakanda, its people, kind of like the governmental structure,
Mhm.
the kind of like different beefs and stuff within Wakanda. Then you have to go with the whole retribution revenge story with Kim. So Black Panther didn't really get to kind of like have
He
his
didn't
own
shine.
movie really.
Yeah. He didn't get to shine in his own movie. And don't get me wrong, Chadwick Boseman did what Chadwick Boseman did,
Yeah,
which
he did his job.
nailed everything he was given. Okay, that's it was his loss was a pain to cinema, period. This is coming from somebody who's been following his career since 42. All right. Love me some Chadwick. But the script didn't give T'Challa enough time. We didn't get to see the dude with 6 or 7 PhDs. His
Nah.
brilliance was overshadowed by his sister. And we
Yeah.
got to see him come to terms with the lies that he had been given, but not the rest of the reason that he is the king. Not just because he can fight, but he's the king.
Yeah.
I mean, a few spoilers for the comics. After Doctor Doom comes and does some wackiness, he may lose the title of Black Panther. He may lose the title of King of Wakanda because he becomes the King of the Dead. So the second episode really showed that no matter what T'Challa does, he's gonna be the king. That's just who he is.
Yeah, he'll always be kind of this regal leader no matter where he is.
A regal leader with a good heart, a tactical brain, and again, the dude's got a +5 charisma bonus. I mean,
So
serious.
This what's up. E. Burrinson says, can we assume that the sequels to Black Panther would kind of like focus on T'Challa? I guess the spotlight on T'Challa that we wanted, and I'd assume maybe because they set up the first Black Panther in such a ensemble way, so
Yes.
maybe there is like one small thing at the end that I wasn't like a super fan of, but having the CIA guy stop the ships, I'm like, I know my antennas is up, but I'm like, it would have just been cool if there was like another character that was minor that could have done that. And I know, I'm gonna let it go. The movie, for the most part, the movie is I'm like 95% on the movie. It's like it's a nitpick to bring that out. But it's just every time I watch it, I'll be like, because we can't spend all this time talking about colonizer and then be like, bring them back to the place. But I get it. It's Disney. I get it. It. That's why I let it go. It's like I feel it, and I'm like, you know what? It's like 2% of the whole movie. Like, it's a small part.
No, I'm kind of with that. So I'm just kind of sitting up, and I'm thinking, shout out to what is that? Eberron's son?
Yeah.
The answer is because they lost their principal character, or they lost their principal actor, and they're trying to figure out how to move forward. That's all.
Now, since we've kind of talked about the episode, I do want to break this down. I am on the train of recasting Black Panther. Now, I love Chadwick Boseman. Do not get me wrong. I love him. But I believe our heroes need to live on past the actors, just like their heroes live on past the actors. There's been, 6 Batmen, 5 Supermen, but all of a sudden, we can only have one Black Panther. Oh, well, it's over. No more T'Challa. I guess it's just can't. What can you do? It's like,
I'm right there with
and not to say that there wouldn't be kind of like a a sadness around the role, maybe a pressure on that actor that they bring in. But that doesn't mean that we should just table T'Challa forever.
Exactly.
I don't know. I feel like they would never do this with Batman. They would never do this with Spider-Man. They would never do this with Superman.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? So why in the world Black Panther all of a sudden, well, there's no more T'Challa. What can you do, guys? He was just so great.
Again, I think Disney is smarter than that because they saw that the Tyler Perry dollar was strong.
No, he didn't say the Tyler Perry dollar.
That's how I believe the industry sees it. It's that, well, I don't know if we can get that much money from a Black audience. Ask Tyler Perry. Oh, you know what? Maybe we can do a movie with a Black superhero. And Black Panther came out. It blew the ears off of the box office, so they're not going to let that go. That's bad business. I honestly believe if they do recast it, it should be a Nigerian or a South African actor.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah, that's just me. Because if we're having an African hero, then we need to have an African actor. And you turned me on to Queen Sono. So
whoa, Eon 001 said somebody online he was arguing with said they should only recast in 15 to 20 years. Man, get out of here, man. I don't know. I haven't. My antennas be like, yo. They would never do this.
Probably not a person of color, therefore they don't understand the importance of having that kind of representation.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Yeah, so
we need another T'Challa. If they don't use the multiverse to give us another T'Challa, you can give us through the multiverse. You can go in and say it right here. It's easy. Disney, you can take this unless you've already taken it. There is a version of T'Challa that needs a mother. Just like the Queen Mother needs a son.
Ooh,
and guess what? And guess what? There you go.
Or should I say you're going Shuri?
He's in a branch that's about to get chopped. It's a dying universe. He needs a mother because his mother and sister were killed by XYZ villain in his universe. And he's able to reconnect to sort of his mother and sister that are a little bit different, but they got the same faces and the connection is there and it's healing for both sides.
Yeah.
And there you go. Just cut me that little $5,000 check that you give to the writers of your actual MCU storylines. I'll be happy. Just go and give me that.
Yeah, but again, I'm with that whole thing. But I am sad though because I'm noticing that most of these what ifs keep ending in terrible endings.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh man, T'Challa brings peace to the universe until Ego destroys it once he finds Peter Quill. That sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, T'Challa did the whole thing with the Guardians of the Universe and all our Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that. And Loki takes over the world. So
but we do have a little baby bit of hope at the end because you got Captain Marvel and Captain America. So
yeah, I get that.
I don't think there's anyone who can really mess with Captain Marvel on Loki's side 1v1. And then with Captain America, I mean, you do have Loki in the tricks, but I mean, power-wise, I mean, she could essentially just she could just grab up the destroyer, throw him out in space somewhere. Don't even worry about that no more. He'll just be space junk.
It's completely canon that without Mjolnir, if Thor didn't have Mjolnir, Loki could knock him out with one punch. So that has shown. Like Asgardians are the Marvel equivalent of Kryptonians. So just because Loki looks weak against, say, the Warriors 3, and Thor, and who doesn't look weak in front of Odin, that doesn't mean he's a chump. And I'm saying because in a nutshell, all the Asgardians are like Kryptonians. They're like a synthesis of Kryptonian and Amazon. So Captain Marvel, as powerful as she is, there are contenders such as
but the MCU version.
The
MCU versions.
Oh, that's all I'm talking about.
Yeah, the
Um,
MCU
there's
versions are not.
there's Hela, there's Odin. You know, who knows if they're bringing in um Odin's brother, the other Borson, from Fear Itself. Um, so there's a lot of stuff there. Um, when so that's kind of the thing. I don't know what episode is coming up next. I can never find the trailers, or more to the point, I never bothered looking too hard for them. I'm gonna get better at that. I'm gonna get better at that. But yeah, so with this last episode, the murder mystery aspect was really good.
Yeah.
The ways that they used the shrinking powers were amazing. Like they were. One thing I gotta give it up. Like, people give the Ant-Man franchise so much crap, and I'm like, this is good. This is really good. I mean, they're not as epic in scope as the rest of the Avengers,
Yeah. Well, also
but
because they worked so hard to play him off as a joke. I don't think Marvel takes him as seriously as he could be taken.
well, they don't take him as dark in the writing. But
Well, yeah.
I mean, he's kind of I'm gonna say they do write Scott Lang as Ant-Man as a monkey with a gun. But a monkey with a gun is still terrifying. A monkey is terrifying. A gun being held by something that can operate it either as a bludgeoning weapon or as a gun is still terrifying. But I'm really hoping, like, in the future, they expand on a little bit more with the Ant-Man character, because he's a cool character. As somebody who does a lot of writing and stuff like that, the two powers are terrifying. Okay, the two powers are literally something out of a horror movie.
Yeah.
In the last episode, we saw the ghost aspect of it. Who's beating these people, who's killing these people, how is it happening, all that stuff. Thanks, Simpson. Who is doing all that stuff. And simultaneously, his second power, that swarm, I don't know about you, but I don't make it a habit to sit on an anthill.
That swarm could be serious.
Huh?
The swarm could be serious.
Fun fact, when a taxidermy person wants to clean the flesh off of an animal, they just drop it in a bucket full of beetles for about 2.5 weeks. Wow. And then they pull out the skull. Okay. I've been bitten by ants. You Southern. You've been bit by fire ants before.
Yeah. Ants can have a pretty decent grip on you.
Yeah, and Ant-Man is the one who can tell them where you live. They can get you in your sleep,
True.
And that's a little more than terrifying. But
oh man. All right, so there's a couple of people coming in on your Ant-Man statement. So all right, check this. Belly Superb, hope I didn't screw up your name, said Ant-Man could easily be $1 billion franchise, but Marvel got a bland, safe director helming it.
True that.
I'll agree with you. I think Marvel, this goes on to the statement that Eon 001 says of, I really want to see Hank Pym prequel with Janet. Really see a peak dangerous Ant-Man. Scott is a bit too goofy. And I will agree, in this situation of the way they pull off Ant-Man now, he's very like advertiser friendly.
Yes.
You're never really scared. They do use Hope to kind of pull off some like really cool stuff. Like combos and all that.
Yeah.
But for Scott, it's really just like the jokes and the hijinks of when it could be like, oh man, like
He's the clown.
this
that falls
guy's actually a threat.
Yeah, he's the
And
clown.
not saying that he has to be the Punisher, but just like this guy's a threat. Like this guy's seriously got some skills.
Hank was the threat, like the real threat.
And we found that out in this episode.
Yeah, I'm with you on that prequel thing, and that's one of the things I like. This What If episode left me wanting one thing.
All right.
Really, yeah, I'm right there with you, everyone. So like he and I are just right there, or they and I don't know if it's a man or a woman, but yeah, they and I right there. We're right there with perfect casting, because I remember falling down and falling down with an ant costume. That's kind of terrifying. Yeah, what this episode left me with was I wanted to see what happened before. Like, what did happen with Hope? How did she die? Because I get where he was coming from. His wife, he thinks she's dead. She's in the quantum zone. Effectively the same thing. Then he lost the only other person in his life.
Yeah.
You know, and Marvel is very good at showing what the importance of family is. You know, Hawkeye, when he lost his family, he became Ronin and traveled the world killing mob bosses.
Brown mob bosses only. We didn't. No.
Yeah. Yeah. You know. And
I was like, I see you, Disney. I still see you. Like,
yeah,
I still see you.
You know, when in the Ultimate Fantastic Four, when Reed abandons his family, he becomes a multiverse level bad guy. You know.
Yeah.
So when you got somebody as unstable, abusive, and as messed up as Hank Pym is, losing his family, he goes after S.H.I.E.L.D. and almost wins.
Yeah, true.
So yeah,
I mean, he kind of even in this episode, the way it ends, it puts the Earth in dire straits because Hank essentially sets off the invasion of Earth.
Yes.
Like if Thor had not died on Earth, Loki probably wouldn't be caring about, Midgard like that. You know what I'm saying?
He still would have. I mean,
yeah, but I'm just talking about at that time he probably accelerated it. And then of course Hank killing everybody didn't help in any type of protection whatsoever.
Yeah.
So what can you do? But with that said, guys, we love the episode. We've been here for a minute. I did want to touch on one thing Eon 001 said earlier, talking about Black Panther and his back and forth. He said that actually the guy he was arguing with was a brother. He said some people are just trying to out-mourn each other. It's getting silly. Yes, it is. I've lost people in real life, and it didn't take me over a decade to get over them. And it's like, don't get me wrong, you still miss them, you love them, but this whole thing where it's like, 15 years, it's like, really 15 years? Are you going, is Verizon going to give you 15 years to pay your bills again because you can't get over? Are you going to get 15 years to come back to your job and have the same position? Come on now.
We're getting a new Spider-Man every 5.
Yeah, like it's like, come on, man. Stop it.
And he's one of the flagship characters.
Yeah, I will say there's a YouTuber that put out a video recently about Black Panther 2 where I was like, this information is not new, but you're cashing in on the fact that it's the anniversary of his death. And you're corny, and I'm tired of seeing videos that really have no brand new information. It's just rumor. But yeah, it's either people trying to out-mourn each other in like this weird way, or they're trying to like capitalize on like how much they love Chadwick. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not like I'm not super sad, but you just don't understand how much I love T'Challa. Or I
Yeah.
love Chadwick. Chadwick was the best actor that ever lived. And it's like,
Them's the times
and
we
not to
live.
say that Chadwick was a bad actor, just like these people they be doing the most.
Right.
And it's
I'm saying I love Chadwick's work. I didn't know the man, but I tell everybody out there trying to start up your own thing, strangers make you rich. I'm a stranger to that man, and I paid for all this work that I could afford. But at the same time, a role is a role, you know.
yes.
And as much as I would love to see him in the Black Panther costume again, alive, that doesn't mean you retire the character. I mean, what do we retire Hamlet because Shakespeare died?
Yeah,
You know,
it's like it's very, for me, it looks very suspect because we don't retire. Trust me, if Hugh Jackman died today, tomorrow Variety would be like, who's the next Wolverine? Who would it be? Hi, this is Hollywood Reporter. Who's next for the one with the claws? It'll be like, but somehow
they replaced him.
somehow when it's black, it's like no more, y'all.
Yeah, you know, as soon as Patrick Stewart started getting old, they're like, who can we get to play the role for the next 20 years? You know, and again, how many Spider-Mans we got?
It's like Spider-Man. They would never do this to a white character, man.
And
it's
sorry,
like, bruh. Belly Superb said we've had 3 live action Jokers since arguably the best Joker, Heath Ledger, passed. Thank you. So exactly. Heath Ledger dies, and we've had 3 Jokers since, and nobody's out there making a petition to like never do Joker again. Nobody even you didn't see Kevin Sujihara of Warner Brothers come out and say, we loved him so much. We'll never do. Well, sorry, Kevin Sujihara wasn't in charge at that time, but you know what I mean. You didn't have the man or woman of Warner Brothers come out and say, Heath Ledger was so great. We'll just never have another Joker. No, they were like, look, this sucks, but we're gonna have to figure out another way to bring him to screen, to bring him to another storyline or a TV show or a movie. Stop it.
2 words, bro. 2 words. Ready?
It's thinly veiled racism.
2 words. Okay.
And I see you, Mickey.
Yeah, no, it's not. They're not going to retire the character, and they're not seriously talking about it. And this is what I got to say to all the people saying, no, they got to hang up Black Panther. James Bond. You know.
Yeah.
Connery's gone. Roger Moore is either dead or retired. You know.
He said either dead or retired.
I'm saying that because I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, it's like I haven't seen him in forever.
Yeah, exactly. Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, and how many Batmans have we had? So if Black Panther's got to be our first revolving one, and oh wait, I'm sorry, isn't Mahershala Ali about to replace Blade?
Yeah, like he's about to replace. I guess because Wesley's still alive, maybe it's okay to replace him. I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, we go through this all the time. I love Chadwick, and I guess I'm not taking the replacement so hard because his part in his own movie was so small. But you know, I mean, it's one like, you know, I'm looking forward to the new Batman. I really am. As much as I love.
I forgot. It's Matt Reeves, right? He's doing it. He's the director, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot all about that movie. Yeah.
I'm way
Matt
too
Reeves
hyped
Batman.
I'm way too hyped because I've been seeing Paul Dano as the Riddler for 20 years. You know, it's just like, oh my God, one of my picks. This ain't happened since Patrick Stewart, and that was a no-brainer. So, but yeah. So I mean, no, we can keep doing it. I love that episode 2 really showed T'Challa as more of a character. We got to see a lot of him being him, the tactician, the strategist, the nice dude, the king. And in this one, Again, never really been a big fan of Nick Fury. As much as I love Sam Jackson, it's the character just never really did it for me. You know what I mean? But Hank Pym, the murder mystery, the solution to the murder mystery, that was a good resolution, and I liked that a whole lot. I specifically like the fact that once they solved the Hank problem and they stopped Earth from being destroyed by Asgard, Shield couldn't do anything to stop Earth from being taken over by Asgard, and that was kind of good. Tyler, I respect you. I just don't agree with you on that point. You know, because I'm stuck between Morgan Freeman and Cindy Poitier, but
wow.
Yeah, it's. I guess it's a taste thing. You know,
It's a taste thing.
Yeah.
Well, with that,
so
with that said, guys, we thank y'all for rolling through. I'm gonna throw it on over to the Cinematic Sorcerer. Tell them where they can find you.
Oh, me? Well, as of tomorrow, as a matter of fact, because the studio is back up now, you will be able to find me at twitch.tv/BID_P. You can also find me here on YouTube under Solar Gray. Like, subscribe, and of course at my Patreon at patreon.com/BID_P. We talk about geek stuff. We talk about games. We talk about life and the stuff I've gone through in life to try and become the type of person that I want my daughter to bring home. Or should I say, if my daughter brought somebody exactly like me home, would I want to shoot them in the face? If the answer is anything but no, I got work to do. And we talk about that kind of thing on the website, on the Patreon. And we do so by playing games and all that stuff. See, you laughing, but you know I'm right. You know I'm right. This is the man I'm gonna marry. He's just like you. Get him out of my house. You know? I know where I've been. You deserve better. You know. So yeah. So come on down, see me over at twitch.tv/BID_P. And we do stuff Monday through Friday. So I'm busy. And with the new studio and stuff, I got more stuff coming down the aisles.
Yeah.
I don't love this stuff. So, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe at NERDSoul. You know, just saying.
Man, please.
Like, subscribe.
Y'all see we just cracked 4K. You know we heading to 10. Why y'all come on now?
Exactly. And you know what?
We know everybody watching. Come on now.
See, I may be a pretty tough guy in my heart, but I do not have a shell, nor do I have claws. So we ain't about them crab brothers.
Yeah, we ain't about that. You know what I'm saying? Support. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
You see me, I got the Blerdish shirt on. Support, man. Y'all need a t-shirt, check Blerdish out. You know what I'm saying? Look, collective economics, y'all. But with that said, shout out to Eon001, Tyler Bennett, because he crazy, Velly Superb, Andre Atkins, E. Burnson. I be feeling like I'll be screwing up your name, but I'm pretty sure I don't, but I be feeling like it. Ghost MKC, Shango Zulu, tons of y'all. I'm pretty sure I missed somebody, but it was not on purpose. Oh, also, big shout out to Tracy Lee. Yesterday was your birthday. Happy birthday. Happy belated. You the bomb, girl. So with that said, NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all them places. Hit that thumbs up. If you like what you're seeing, hit that thumbs down. If you don't, when you hit that thumbs down, I'm going to send Ant-Man after you, all right? You know, you don't never know what's going to happen, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to get beat down.
Like you hear, then subscribe and hit the notification. Yep. So you can talk to them on the community tab. Be like, I don't like what you're doing. You should be doing stuff like that. I'm a subscriber. I got the right to talk to you about that. Matter of fact, I brought 10 friends to subscribe to this channel. And we all say you can do that. You know? There's the man. There is the man.
Little guy. Say what's up.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Are you putting up the woo? Yes. So guys, of course, we're going to leave you.
Ultron.
Yeah, Ultron. Arcatron?
Yeah.
PL Parker Lewis? Anwar Hassan? All right, we're gonna leave y'all with some PL Parker Lewis. From us to you, just say peace. Say peace.
Peace.
Peace. And from us to you, of course, Wu-Tang. is only and always for the children.
I'm the man, yes sir, that killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for I was legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too sharp, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dallas rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding cause we all came from Hunger.